Hey guys, what's up? This is the second part of the video about the trapper build. Previously, we've discussed the advantage and disadvantage of being a trapper. We've also discussed the attributes needed in order for your trapper build to get stronger, and also the stats and skills. So in this part of the video, we'll discuss the items, the Acer runes needed, the skill runes, and also the attribute runes, and also the pets that you can use to in order for your trapper to be more effective. So without further ado, let's continue. Okay, so let's start with the items. This is one of the most important things you need to know if you wanted to to proceed with a trapper build. So let's start with the weapon. For the weapon, you'll have the Moonlight Goddess. This is the best weapon I would recommend you to use, as it gives plus 15 int and plus 5 dex. It also gives plus 200 max SP. You also get elemental damage increased by 5% for wind, fire, water, and earth. It also reduces your SP cost of trap skills by 30%, and it increases trap skill damage by 30%, depending on the refined level. And for the enchantment, I would recommend you to get the Morale, the 4th enchant Morale, as it gives additional ignore death or tenacity for higher durability or a higher survival rate. And when it comes to the cards, I would recommend you any racial cards, in order for you to increase your damage depending on the situation. When it comes to PvP, you can use the Hydra card. When it comes to MVP, you can use the Abysmal Knight card to increase the damage to MVP and mini monsters by 10%. Don't forget to add a deposit effect of this card, as it will give you additional 5% damage to MVP and mini monsters if you have the deposit effect. And Prioni card as well is one of the good thing, because it has an overall effect of additional skill damage plus 10%, and you can also use the other cards as well. It's up to you. It's still your preference. Next, we have the armor, which is the blanking coat. It gives plus 10 int and dex, 3500 max HP, 800 max SP, additional 10% ignore death, defense plus 10%. You can get up to 15% magic defense, depending on your armor's refined level. It will also reduce the trap skill SP cost by 15%, and it increases your hunter trap skill damage by up to 30%. If you have the plus 15, that will be a total of 30% additional trap damage skill. And starting from refined plus 8, that you can get 1% magic damage increase. That's up to 8% if you have the plus 15 of it. And with a combination of blanking coat and Luna Brooch or Bright Moon, it will give you additional plus 10% trap skill damage. And for the enchant, I would also recommend you get the ignore death. Okay, for higher damage output, especially if you're fighting a high level MVPs. And for the card, you can use Moonok Star card, as it gives additional 15% ignore death. Or you can also use the Gloom card as well if you have enough ignore death. Mostly Gloom card is being used for Thanatos Tower. Okay, next for the offhand, we have the Rosa chain. It gives you 2800 max HP, 20 additional 25% of ignore def, and it will also give you 10% additional 10% ignore def if you have plus 15 of it. And starting from refining plus 8, you'll get up to 16% ignore def. Okay, for you'll get 2% ignore def starting from plus 8 for every refined level. And for the enchantment, tenacity will be the 4th enchant. That's what I would recommend, for higher survivability rate. And when it comes to cards, you can use any racial card as well. You can check it out. You can also use the Tara Frog Star card for PvP purposes, or you can also use the Anubis Star card, as it gives a plus 5% damage increase to all races. Or if you prefer, if you want a higher MVP damage output, you can also use Alice Star card. So wanted to add the pick platter item for the offhand item. This will be your end item for PvP, as it gives up to plus 8% magic penetration if you have plus 15 of it, and it also gives you plus 8 plus 12 intelligence attribute. So it will give you a very big boost, trap skill damage increase. But if you're kind of an MVP hunter, I would still recommend you to use the Rosa Chain for a higher ignore def increase with your stats. Okay, next we're going to discuss the Ancient Cape. Ancient Cape provides additional 15% of ignore def, and with the upcoming update for the RO version 2, we'll have the synthesis effect of the Ancient Cape, wherein starting from plus 8 refine level, you'll up to 8%. You can get up to 8% additional skill damage increase. So that's a very big boost as well for your trap skill damage. For the enchantment, you must have the Arcane 4, a magic damage increase for enchant effect, or you can also use some other enchantment effect like max HP. It's still up to you. It's still your choice. And when it comes to card, what I would recommend is the Ragnarok Star card, as it increases your Comet Trap damage by 8%. Okay, and it will also gives you neutral damage taken reduced by 8%. And you can also use other cards like Celebration Collection card. Okay, and then for the boots, you can use the Crystal Pump. This is kind of pricey if you will ask me, but if you have other boots that has Arcane 3 or Arcane 4 enchant effect, that's way better than this. The good thing about the Crystal Pump is you can get up to plus 10 int once you have it upgraded to tier 8. And for the enchant effect, you can have the Divine Blessing, or the Arcane 4 or Arcane 4th enchant as well. For the boots, what I have is the Fallen Bishop card in my equipment. You can also use other cards like Black Witch Star card or Ninetail Star card. It's up to you, depending on what card you have to increase your survivability or your damage output. Next, we have the accessory. Okay, for the accessory, we have the Bright Moon. It gives you plus 8 int and dex, max SP of 405, an SP regen, and it increases damage by 10% to a target that got immobilized by the ankle snare. It also increases your trap skill damage by 30 up to 30% depending on the refined level of your accessory. So if you have 2 plus 15 of it, that's total of plus 60%, which is a very big boost. And it also comes up with the plus 10% SP regen and plus 2 int if you have the Lunabo equipped at the same time. And you have, of course, the trap skill damage increased by 10% with your, if you have the Stardust Robe equipped as well. For the enchantment, if you got lucky, you can get the M-Pen 4th enchant. If not, you can always get the int part, int or dex or crit def, for higher survivability. For the cards, you can use the Rate Star card for additional attribute by 1. It also increases the chance of stun and freezing attacks by 25%. This is very helpful for your Comet Trap and also for the Cyrogenic Cyclone. Okay. And the Smoky card. You can also use the Smoky card. This is very useful when it comes to PvP. Okay, since your traps can be hidden when you're using it while you're hidden with the Smoky card. The downside to this one when using the Smoky card is it will reduce your movement speed by 70%, but that can be lessened if you have a max Acer upgrade of your Warg Rider and a level 3 upgrade as well. You can have up to 45% additional movement speed, and also the 20% movement speed increase with your Windwalk buff. Okay, so next we're going to discuss the headwears. So under headwear, the Bottled Star, it increases all of your attributes by 2. It gives you M-Pen magic penetration of 5% as well, and if your HP is full, it will give you additional 3% magic penetration. For free-to-play players, you can also use the other headwears like Coif. For the Coif, it will give you some SP increase and specifically magic damage increase by 5%, which is a big help with your damage output. You can also use Majestic Goat if you're having struggle with the Ignore Death. If you'll have a plus 10 Majestic Goat, you will have a total of additional Ignore Death by 20%. And alternatively, you can also have the Doppelganger's Bandana. For the Doppelganger's Bandana, you can have additional elemental damage by 5% for wind, earth, water, and fire. And you can also have an additional 3% Ignore Death, which is not half bad. You can get the Armor 4 4th enchant for this part, but it's very hard to be honest with you, for higher crit resist. Or you can get the other enchantment attribute like crit def and so forth. And then for the card, you can have the Katarina card. That's the best headwear card for your trapper build. You can also use the NPC Revenge card. NPC Revenge card will give you 2% skill damage increase and additional attribute to all of your stats by 2. Or you can also use the Clock Tower Star card. Okay. For the face item, this Juggling Queen is the one I'm using. I use this to increase the damage to MVP and mini monsters by 10%. Alternatively, you can use the Dragon Scale Stripe, as it gives plus 10 dex and plus 5 int. Or you can also use the Last Gaze item. It's a Luyang main quest item. You will be able to get this once you finish that main quest part, and it gives plus 4% damage increase to all race. So that's a very good item, if you will ask me. The challenging part to that will be the enchantment part. If you manage to get an ignore death, you need to refine it to plus 6. And if you manage to get fail, it's either you'll have your alt character get the Luyang main quest in order for you to have the item repaired, or you need to use your ticket to buy and repair a repair item. With the cat merchant in Geffen Dungeon. Next, for the mouth, we have the blowgun. There are some good gacha items that gives additional skill damage increase. But if you're a free-to-play player, blowgun is fine. You can look for a blowgun with what they call this? Fort enchant, which is armor 4, for additional crit resistance. And when it comes to the back item, the one I'm using is the Ancient One Staff. I have the Fort Enchant Morale 4, Ignore Death plus 20%. One thing I want with this item as well is it provides additional 10 int. Alternatively, you can use the Devil Wing as well to increase your magic damage by 5% and plus 1 to all of your attributes. Okay, and then for the tail, you can use magic what I have is Peter Wendy, which provides magic penetration by 3%, and using any skill has 100% chance to get a buff. Empen plus 15% lasts for 5 seconds. This is very useful as well for me. Alternatively, you can use the Sea Soul's Tail, wherein it gives you elemental damage increase by 4%. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of the part 2. So far we have discussed the items, cards, and enchantments needed for the Trapper build. Next, at the next video, the part 3, we will discuss the Acer runes, the advanced runes needed for you to become an efficient Trapper build. And we'll also discuss the the skill runes, attribute runes, the pets that can help you out to increase your trap damage, and of course tips and any strategies that you may use, for you to be able to become an effective trapper. So I'll see you at the part 3 video. Please like and subscribe if this video helps you a lot about the trapper build. Take care. Cheers.